People from manufacturing are seen to be people who dirty their hands, have a lot of stress, isn't as technologically challenging. These are some of the perceptions that young students carry in their mind. We will not make our mark on the world stage if we are not good at R&D and hold our own intellectual property.
You'll find a lot of students not getting jobs. Companies are also struggling to get right candidates. It's clear that there is some gap.
Absolutely.
And I'm really glad that institutes like NAMTECH is trying to bridge this gap.
Hello and welcome to NAMTalks. We have a lot of engineers who would like to know about their career choices, and who better to understand this but from industry leaders such as Dr. Hemal Desai and Mr. Sandeep Redkar. I welcome both of you here today in this episode of NAMTalks. My first question to you would be, what's the one misconception that engineers have about your industry, and how would you help them learn more about it?
So what we have seen is that people, I should rather say students that we interview at this point of time, they carry a perception that manufacturing isn't glamorous enough. Okay, they have a perception, and it is commonly a commonly held myth, I would say, that the sectors like IT, finance, those kind of sectors are more glamorous. They bring in more remuneration. They are seen to be the upwardly mobile kind of professions for aspiring people. However, as against that, manufacturing is really not that shining a career option for most of them. And that is really a perception driven by the society around us.
Yeah.
Okay, people from manufacturing are seen to be people who dirty their hands, have a lot of stress, isn't as remunerative, isn't as technologically challenging. So these are some of the perceptions that young students carry in their mind. And therefore, we find that in the general population, the number of people, the number of students that want to go for this kind of professions are comparatively lesser than the ones that want to go for the IT and the finance and those kind of sectors. So this is a perception of people that needs to be corrected, and that has been a fulfilling experience. Now I am almost completing 40 years in industry, and every day for me is a wow day. Every day I'm trying to solve a technical problem for somebody which has been pestering him, and at the same time I'm able to realize a business and monetary outcome for that person.
That's
So
fantastic.
every day is a very satisfying day for me.
Not only the students, I wouldn't blame them, but not even their parents
Yeah.
have, I mean, I come from a background of automation, hardcore automation. I come, the company I work for, I have worked for last 35 years is are into instrumentation and control.
Yeah.
Most of the parents don't know what is automation and what is smart manufacturing. So that's where we start this conversation with.
Sure.
And when you say smart manufacturing, there's, why do we call it smart manufacturing, by the way? So there's a lot of integration of, operations and IT now happening. A lot of, you could say IT is the convergence of
Correct.
the operation technology and IT technology.
Yeah.
I'd just like to give you one example.
Yeah.
Couple of months back, we were having a roadshow in an industrial town of Vapi. It's a chemical belt. And we were just having dinner with some of our very important customers. And one of the customers, who's a maintenance manager, he runs to me and says, "Mr. Desai, I have to go rush back." I said, "Why?" So he shows me his mobile phone, and he's got an alert from his plant
Right.
saying that one of the flow meters in his plant is getting choked.
Okay.
He said, if I don't really rush back to the
Yeah.
plant,
Yeah.
there's a possibility the plant may go under shutdown.
Okay.
So he has to rush back. Now just imagine, okay, an equipment somewhere in his big plant giving him an alert on his phone that if you don't really take care of me,
Immediate.
or if you don't do any maintenance, I'm going to shut down the plant. So this is the level of, you can call it predictive maintenance or predictive diagnostics or predictive things where we have come to. This because of this, meeting of operations and IT.
That's right.
In the old days, you had a control room. You were sitting in a control room and you had to guess what is going to happen.
Correct.
It was a lot of reactive maintenance, a lot of preventive maintenance. You do maintenance, but whether
You're
it
not really
requires
sure.
maintenance, it doesn't require, you really don't know. So this is what we are talking about when we are talking about smart manufacturing, smart shop floor, smart factories.
Correct. And what's that wow moment in
So,
your?
so,
These are all your
so
wow
we have been
moments.
seeing the metamorphosis of this last 35 years.
Correct.
In the old days, when we joined the industry, guy used to go along with a pen and paper to note down all the readings right in the morning. Every day morning, 9 o'clock, you will go from the shift, write down everything, come to the, to this shift workshop,
With the
and
logbook.
then load it and file it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that leads me to my next question. There is a lot of potential in some of the high growth industries now, such as semiconductors, such as EV, such as renewables. So, what do you think will be the specialized job roles or any other industry that comes to your mind? What do you think will be the specialized job roles that will emerge very soon in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? And if you want to go first.
Today in India, you'll be surprised to know 85% of the energy comes from outside. 85% of the energy which India uses
Yeah.
is not produced in India. So you can just imagine the kind of dependency we have on energy, on external energy. So new energy, okay, areas like you just mentioned about, EV, you talked about solar, you talked about renewables. Then there are other things like gas. We're
Correct.
talking about natural gas. We are talking about biogas. We are talking about fuel gas. Okay, you're talking about hydrogen, carbon capture. There are so many new things which are happening in the energy area. I think this is one area where we are really very optimistic in terms of
The growth
career
and the career.
growth, which is going to happen in the next you can say 10 to 15 years. From the other area which I would say is biopharmaceuticals and biotechnology. This is another area where we have high hope. And I think the third area which most of the people overlook in this discussion of high technology is water and wastewater, specifically for India.
Okay.
With such a big population, water was something which was free all these years, but it's no longer like that. So how do supply water to 150 crore people?
Every day there is a new surprise.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very far back that we were engaged in a particular project which required us to convert tidal waves into electricity. Now we would not have done that about 10 years back, but now we are getting into all kind of stuff which is you might say unheard of and unthought of.
Yeah.
And the times are absolutely exciting with respect to what technology we will see coming into future. I mean, we are very hopeful about the next generation of technologies. For example, we were introduced to a 6G sensor which did not require power. It extracted its power from the electromagnetic waves in the atmosphere and could communicate over those same waves. Okay, so people are looking at those kind of technologies which harvest energy from their atmosphere and then be able to be alive and then transmit their information. All of these are things to come. So there isn't a dearth of excitement in future from a smart manufacturing point of view. But I wouldn't say that the traditional manufacturing is going away anywhere.
Correct. So, what do you think is really a differentiator in our curriculum? What were some of your takeaways when you interacted with NAMTECH or you visited us on campus?
So I think one of the things which we saw at NAMTech is that a graduate of NAMTech is more ready to produce on day one. He has a more hands-on experience at day one, more experience in look and feel. He does have a look and feel, able to produce, results more faster, I would
Or
say.
at least is deployable since day one.
Exactly. So that is one. Second thing, what we have seen is when we visited the campus of NAMTech, there's very active learning, what we saw. Lot of experiential learning, I would say, what is the way NAMTech does it. Okay. And that's really very good because that is what generates curiosity in the students and they learn by this curiosity rather than being forced to go through a curriculum.
Correct.
So that is very, very different, okay, compared to, any of the other institutes. We work with many, many institutes. We work with many government institutions. We work with many universities. But I can tell you, we have not seen an academic institution like NAMTECH.
What are your thoughts on this collaboration aspect between industry and academia? Is enough happening? Would you like to see more? And how do you think this should grow?
Uh, it's really funny, Nandini. You'll find a lot of students not getting jobs. Okay, very, very common.
Yeah.
Okay, struggling to get something.
After
But
their-
the other end,
Yeah.
companies are also struggling to get right candidates. So it's clear that there is some gap somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I'm really glad that institutes like NAMTECH, the way they have designed courses, okay, is trying to bridge this gap. I'm really very optimistic and I have high hopes on NAMTECH in this regard, in bridging the gap.
So it's not only about us finding good engineers. 45% of India's GDP is locked up in MSMEs,
That's right.
right? And it has been a stated endeavor from the government right up to the top. Niti Aayog, CII, the ministries themselves, that the industry which is already well to do and has evolved should be able to do something for these MSMEs so that we lift up from the level that they currently exist to a level where they can become globally competitive.
Right.
And this cannot be done unless we have plenty of engineers who are good at smart manufacturing. We are specifically talking about manufacturing, not the service sector. Service sector is fairly well to do at this point of time. But manufacturing is where our next growth objective will come. And from that point of view, we have been challenged a lot by various of these agencies, including government. What is it that you can provide to the MSMEs? So when we look at, okay, we have the product portfolio. We have been doing it for the tier 1, tier 2 customers. So obviously, the whole portfolio of abilities and technologies to be able to lift these MSMEs is available.
Yeah.
Now, but who's going to look at these 3 lakh, 4 lakh MSMEs across India, go across to them, enable them to be lifted from where they currently are to a smart manufacturing level?
Correct.
We need that kind of manpower who's literate in the ways of smart manufacturing.
That's right.
So, from a India perspective, I believe that there is a whole big potential for anybody who educates himself in that line. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be necessarily working for a multinational, either Indian multinational or foreign multinational. You can pave your own way, but by just going to a geography, looking at that particular cluster and helping raise that cluster through the available set of technologies.
And I'm glad that you said that, because in our journey, we have been working with German companies who have been masters at what they do. They may not be as big as an MNC, but they are world beaters and world leaders in that one product or one technology that they focus on.
And we see this kind of companies, probably just 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, who come up with very innovative ideas,
Correct.
which are just not replicated across the world. They are very unique in their way and they have some value that they contribute to the world.
Absolutely. And you think these will be job creators?
These are the job creators.
Absolutely. As leaders in this industry, what would your advice be to a young engineer who's probably watching this video on his phone and thinking about his career?
With the right attitude, you will never have a dull time in your life.
Dr. Desai.
Okay, I would recollect the first time around 35 years back. I went to the US for 3 months to have a study tour of many of our production centers. So before leaving for the US, I had a meeting with my president. So he told me only one thing. He said, Hemal, don't worry about the technical part. we are much ahead of them in technicality. But please study how they do business, how they behave, how they, what are their processes, what are their business processes. Please study that. That is what we miss. And I'm sure with this excellent institute, what you have, uh, that gap, what we have been seeing all these years, will now be closed.
Thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed this conversation because I feel very passionate about what we do at NAMTech. I think we have put in the right building blocks for engineers to come and learn. But both of you have sort of added a lot of insight and a lot of clarity that students look for when they're choosing their profession. They have already finished 4 years of engineering, they may have worked somewhere, and now they will invest more time and energy in this place at NAMTech, in this institute of NAMTech. And I'm sure the pearls of wisdom that you've given them on uh, on roles, on new opportunities, on new job roles, on new industries that are emerging, high growth areas that are emerging in the country will really benefit them to choose between what they should do, what career they should choose, what institute they should choose for post graduation. So, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we wrap up this wonderful conversation this evening.